say 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's give them something to talk about. Something to talk. Let's give them something to talk about. Yeah. Something to talk.
Hello, how are ya? It's good to be with you. Animwaa, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to fix myself.
All right.
The chair. I'm fixed.
Okay, good. She's fixed.
Yes.
And I hope you are too. We're having a fantastic time here bringing you season 3 of The Secret Lives of Adults. This week,
we're talking about, before that, a big thank you to Oak Plaza.
Oh, yes.
Hotels in Accra and Kumasi. Big thank you to Comfort Productions.
Yeah.
And to Black ID.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're talking about...
Does size matter?
Does size matter? Are we talking exclusively about penises, or...
Which other sizes exist?
All kinds of sizes could be brought into question. Does size matter?
Like what?
Like, is it better to date a tall guy than a short guy? Is it better to date a slim girl than a...
We could do that.
But let's start with penises, right?
Wow. So for this conversation, I had to do research.
Okay.
I don't mean I don't mean that kind of research. I mean, I had to talk to people about it.
All right. If that's how you want
that's, I mean, you know, I've
it.
only had sex twice in my life. That's the only evidence that can be found because I have 2 children. Any other time is conjecture and
hearsay.
Hearsay. Thank you very much. But yeah, I spoke to a number of women about size. And it's funny because the thing that kept on popping out was...
Popping out.
The thing that kept on popping out was more skill than size.
Okay. So you see, whenever this conversation comes up, that same thing pops out, which means that we never get an answer. Okay? Because we're asking, is red nice? And you are like, actually... 7 is a great number. We are asking, does size matter? That is pretty much a yes or no question. So the conversation really that we are expecting when we ask that question is that you will tell us the differences in your experience when you are dealing with different sizes.
Okay, so from the conversations that I had, size beyond a certain size, then it's not a huge thing. Size below a certain size is a problem. So if it's like really tiny, really small, you know, I don't know how to describe it, but if
use your finger or something,
I don't know, I guess maybe like a pinky, you know, kind of length. So really small.
That's so about 3 inches, isn't it? Yeah,
so that it doesn't actually go anywhere and it's not really doing anything. And there was one lady who spoke about the fact that she was dating somebody who lived in the US for a very long time, and then he came down and they were going to have sex for the first time. So she was laying in bed with him, you know, and he was kind of, you know, moving, and then he was done. And so she was like, why have you stopped? And he was like, oh, he's done. And she didn't feel anything.
Ew.
Yeah.
I mean, could it be that, like, he's inexperienced and so didn't find the hole? No,
he was very, so apparently she was like, he was very, like, you know, folded thumb size.
Oh my goodness.
You know, kind of like, yeah. So that was a big disappointment, a big problem, because I think she would really have just preferred that he maybe had just said from the get-go that this is an issue for me. So how do we handle it? How do we make do? How do we substitute? So I mean, that was definitely one of the things that came up. But like I said, up to a certain size, then it matters, okay, can it be a bit bigger? But beyond a certain size, and it doesn't matter, because there was a large number of women who talked about the fact that there are men who have really big dicks and don't know what to do with it. You know, so they're just sticking in there. They're not doing anything with it. And I think the thing about a woman's walls and the G-spot is that there has to be a method and there has to be some skill. So just sticking it in there 3 pumps and a squirt just because it's big doesn't actually mean that you've achieved anything. Do you know what I mean?
You have to put that on a t-shirt.
What, the 3 pumps and a
Pumps and a squirt. Oh
so the
my
thing
God.
was, okay, and then there was a group of women who, you know, also said, you know, it's nice when it's big and it fills
Good name
you.
for a car wash.
It's nice when it's big and it fills you and they know what to do with it, because then it's pleasurable. But then it's also funny because, and I had a conversation with a lady who has a relatively short vaginal passage. So for her, a man who is overly endowed is pain, because then you're hitting at her cervix. So it's difficult, you know, to give one answer, because depending on who you are with and what their needs are, you may actually then, the size, like it may be too big, you know, or then it may be too small if you're with somebody who has a very long vaginal wall. Do you know what I mean? Does size matter? Yes, it matters up to a certain length, because obviously if there's nothing there, then there's nothing to work with. But after a certain length, then it becomes more about skill than it is about the size. So
minimum length.
I don't even know lengths. I don't know.
Like you, again, use a reference point.
I don't, like what?
I
don't know. Maybe, how long is this?
That would be like maybe 4.5.
I think so. Maybe
inches.
like 5
inches.
5, 6. I think 5, 6 is kind of like the regular guys. Yeah, I think I mean from the conversations.
5 is supposed to be regular guys.
Yeah, I think 5 and beyond then becomes more about skill. But then 5 and beneath, then it's like.
So what you're saying is that there is no material difference between a 5-inch penis and a 10-inch penis. The only difference is the skill of the user.
Yes, I think that was
Really?
the general consensus. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is the information for men today. If your penis is 5 inches or longer, doesn't matter. Just be skillful.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, from my sample,
your 5-inch penis is just as desirable as a 10-inch.
Yeah.
So why is it that women stare at men with bulging penises, like, or wearing what's it called, gray sweatpants with a very long dong hanging in there? Why do they find that attractive?
Do they find it attractive, or do they find it interesting to look at?
You tell me, madam.
It's just interesting to look at. Like, wow, okay. I don't think it's necessarily that it's more attractive, like, oh my God, I want him because, you know, it's big and dangly.
Really?
I don't know. Like, I can't speak for everybody.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
It's interesting. I mean, I asked this because I know I've seen a few of these.
I saw those videos as well,
prank
where the
videos,
guys,
right?
yeah.
Where the guy walks up to a public place with women and then he's got this cucumber hanging in
And
his
people
trousers.
they prefer to talk to him. I've also seen the videos where the women are saying that if your dick is small, you better lower your voice. You know, I think that society has made, like, you know, big dicks a thing. It's like a god thing. It's like you know, you're endowed. You're like what we've made of, like, we do the same thing with height. Do you know what I mean?
But there is a biological explanation for height. I don't know if there's one for big penises as well. But for height, there is a biological explanation. There's an evolutionary explanation for it. And the idea is that the bigger, taller man gives you more protection. And so, yes, women gravitated towards the bigger, taller man. He can, not only can he protect you more, but he can farm a bigger, you know, acreage of land to feed your family. You know, so bigger, taller, stronger.
I don't know
advantageous.
if that's it with penises.
But do women feel a certain level of maybe fertility is attached to a longer penis?
As in, because he can shoot higher, so then the chances of the thing
pregnancy.
going. I mean, the sperm will swim up anyways. You know, like I said,
Does your vagina know this?
Yes, it does. Really, I think from all the conversations I had, the worst absolute thing that happens is a man with a big dick and doesn't know what to do with it.
Is that worse than a man with a small dick who is enthusiastic?
Honestly, you see, this is a bit of a sensitive topic, so I'm trying to be
sensitive to who?
To you guys, no?
Well, I mean, nobody watching has to admit which category they fall in.
I mean, there was something that bothered me. There was a certain lack of respect for men who had really small penises. It's almost like you're not man enough. You're not, you know, and then that kind of bothered me. Because I can imagine how helpless a man must feel if his penis is not growing, you know. But that was definitely there. And there's definitely, whether we like it or not, there was definitely a lot more respect, the bigger it is. But that's respect. But in terms of pleasure, it was really about, you know, if you know what to do with it, not just with it, but with, you know, everything else in terms of, you know, head, everything else, foreplay, emotional intimacy, all of that. So yeah,
I mean, I think some of it also comes from men ourselves, right? You know, the way I often point out how women are the ones driving a lot of the beauty industry. You know, women are the ones who seem to demand that other women must wear makeup. Women are the ones who demand that other women must have wigs and, you know, do BBLs and all of that. Because when you ask men, we are wondering where you are getting these things from. We have never said we want you to do them. I think when it comes to big penises, some of it is also driven by other men.
okay.
I mean, I remember when I was in secondary school and the way people would flow you fans, because like when you are in the showers, you know, yeah. So I think a lot of that also comes from what other men have told us is acceptable, all right, is, you know, so you grow up thinking, oh, I'm at an advantage because I have, you know, a big penis, because that is what other men have said.
Yeah.
You know, and I think maybe that is a factor that we need to maybe unlearn for those who, you know, might not be measuring up literally, you know, to the big sizes that they think are acceptable. Maybe they need to kind of tell themselves that, look, it's only among us men that we seem to think this thing is important.
But then, I mean, even though that's true, the feeding has gone into women, you know. So that's why I said, like, the respect thing, you know, lower your voice if it's, you know, and if he has a big penis, and, you know, you can talk like you have the stuff to make, you know. And I don't know, it's all a big mess.
Do women feel more? Is it easier to submit to a man with a big penis?
I don't know if I can answer that, unless you're going to ask me.
Please, you have done the research.
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't ask anybody that.
But what's your general impression, talking to your girls and all of that?
I think so. Ghanaian women, some Ghanaian women have a warped sense of, you know, I think one of the things with a big penis is that sex can be painful because he can reach all the way up there. And so in conversations, you find that some men actually use that as punishment. Not like in a bad way, in a sadistic, you know, nasty, rough sex kind of way, like, you've been bad, so I'm hitting all the way up, you know, to the cervix. And I think there's a certain, there's women who kind of enjoy the fact that he can do that. Yeah, I mean, apart from that, I don't know, like, so yes, I mean, it's almost like you've gone where no man has gone. So there's a certain amount of respect, but that's not even a sexual thing. Do you get what I mean? It's just, you know, there's a part of my cervix that nobody has touched because they haven't had the length to, and you have, so we bow down.
So size does matter, in a nutshell.
I don't know. Not for sexual pleasure.
I mean, after everything you've said, can you really summarize by saying
I don't know.
not for sexual
I don't know
pleasure?
if I would say that it matters, but it's a variable, yeah.
So it matters.
It's a variable.
Variables matter. I'll have you know.
Well, there are variables that, like, you know, like zero. Well, zero matters because it makes everything. I don't know, Kojo. Look, I did the research. I've told you the findings. I cannot offer any more than that.
So if you had to choose between small penis with lots of energy.
Energy to do what though?
You
Because
know,
it's not
like,
going
I don't
anywhere.
know, enthusiasm, energy, whatever. I don't mean energy as strength only, but like vim, vigor, eager to please, you know. Or big penis with limited skills. He can thrust. That's about it. Which would you choose for sex?
For a fulfilled sex life.
I don't know why you would include that variable.
No, I'm saying, is it for fulfilled sex life or just to be able to say that my man has a big penis?
Where are you going to say it?
Oh, but we have these discussions.
Oh, you do?
Women?
Yes. About the sizes of
like
your
when you
penises.
see, I mean, I don't. Oh wow! I'm not about to implicate. I'm not getting into trouble this season.
Too late. Please tell us the truth.
No, I think we do. I mean, we'll ask. Oh, so how was the sex? You know, is he big? Is he small? Is he medium? Like.
So size really, really.
And then I think
matters.
based on that, then we decide whether we respect your boyfriend.
The defense rests, Your Honor.
I didn't want to do this.
Oh my God. Yeah, but why? Why is it that women are so reluctant to be as honest about the role size plays?
Because it's not something you can do anything about. Like,
so what?
No, so we feel bad. It's not something you can do. It's not like I can laugh at you if your stomach is big. You know, because like if you go to the gym, you can do something about it.
But women are quite okay laughing at men for being short. Right? You say, I can never date a short man. In fact, you not only laugh at them, you denigrate them. You disqualify them for being short. But when it comes to penis size, you don't want to be honest.
I don't know. I think we just don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Hey.
That's
Today,
what
you don't want to hurt anyone.
That's what I think, because it is uncomfortable, you know, to say it. But we do that. We'll have a conversation. We'll ask the size, you know. And most of the time, the guy who Odogu, like yeah, Odogu is coming. So everybody knows that your guy, you know, is. And there's a certain there's a certain amount of respect that's given.
So men should expect
that their girlfriends, friends know the size of their penis. If the girl decides to be honest, otherwise most girls would just say, oh, like it was really big, without actually disclosing. But unless it was really small, and now and then you have to just come in, you know.
Declare your assets.
But I think most women will hide and say that, oh, it was really big because of what it means in the group.
Wow. That's something I didn't know.
That we discuss it?
Yeah. And that you decide whether or not to respect someone based on the report given about the size.
No, I mean in our heads.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now, okay, so
I'm not going to answer any more questions.
Please, that is the title of this show.
Because I feel like you're
Who else is going to answer?
I feel like you're putting me into a lot of trouble. And I would like to say that these are not my personal opinions.
Who will you be in trouble with?
I'm tired of, like, you know, being cummed after. It's fine.
Being what?
Cummed after. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Cummed after.
Wow. I'm in a room full of men talking about.
Yeah, I don't know why. Listen, I mean, I don't think this is a conversation we'll be having on air. But let me just say this: that look, the point of this exercise,
I know,
is to say the thing that is unsaid.
Okay, so what was the question?
Naturally, people are going to. So no, this one cries even a tame one. I was just going to ask back to the original question about: would you rather go for the enthusiastic little penis man or the limited skills, massive penis man?
No, not the limited skills.
You would much rather have the guy you can't really feel, but he's
Why must there be two extremes?
But that's how you.
Okay, I don't want any of them. I'll look for somebody else. No,
question.
I mean, I feel like that's too extreme. I mean, if you're so small that you can't be felt.
So what would stop you from answering this question?
Because I can imagine the headline. That's why I can answer the question. Gospel singer says she would much rather have, you know, like, I don't want the headline. I don't want the headline. I'll look for a third person. I'll be a nun. I can't choose. I can't. I'm not gonna choose.
Okay. What I really want to say to you, I will not say on air. Anyway.
I think I've given you enough information. But I think the most important takeaway from this is that be skillful.
I don't think that is the takeaway that most of us.
What's the takeaway? What's your takeaway?
That size determines respect. That's a much bigger takeaway than be skillful.
Skill also determines respect. It does.
So she comes to you and says, "Oh, he's tiny, but
no, he's not." The 5-inch below above thing stands.
But there are people whose penises are less than 5 inches
I
long.
know, but I'm saying that if you're above that threshold, the respects for size and skill are, pretty much on the same.
But the woman is not going to come and report a 5-inch penis the same way she'll report a 9-inch penis.
If the 9-inch penis was skillful and the 5-inch penis was skillful, then the report to be is he is skillful.
This is report in answer to the question, how big is it? Because you said you asked that question.
Yes, it was big enough.
Good.
Like the answer then would be, it was big enough and it was amazing.
It was
how amazing. You see, once you bring the amazing variable, the conversation shifts from the size to the amazing.
At some point, you have to understand that it's really not your job to stroke men's egos. It's not. It's not required of you. You don't have to. We much prefer the truth. If we know, we know.
Okay.
It's like you said, it's not something that men can change.
Okay, so size
we can't do
matters.
anything about the size of our penises.
I think that size matters. From
Tell
the
us the
conversation,
truth.
size matters.
Yeah.
And skill matters.
Thank you for watching.